Okay, so before we start adding other things, I want to show you how to draw the sidewalk. Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do is just right below this corner, right here. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Right below the corner of the building here, you're just gonna drop straight down from it. You're gonna put a little dot right there. Okay. Right below the corner of our building. Little dot there. And that dot, we're gonna line it up to vanishing point number 1 and line it up to vanishing point number 2 on the right. Okay, so you're going to draw a line connecting it to both vanishing points. And this is going to be our sidewalk. Okay, so on the left and then on the right. Okay, there we go. And now we have, notice that the sidewalk gets smaller and smaller and then it just disappears as it touches the vanishing point on the left. And then the same thing happens on the right. Okay, so in order to push the idea that it's a sidewalk, we need to make those sidewalk cracks that everyone sees when they're walking on the ground, right? And I'm sure you've probably played that game of not stepping on the cracks, right? And so here's what we do. The common thing that people will do when it comes to drawing those cracks on the sidewalk, they'll do them like this. They'll draw vertical lines like that. That's not right. Okay. It almost looks like there's a fence or posts in front of that building, right? So the right way of doing this is these lines need to be going to a vanishing point. Okay? So let me fix that. And so we have the lines on the right side of our sidewalk. These are supposed to go to that vanishing point. So starting here in this corner, from here, line it up with the vanishing point on the left. And I'm just going to draw one little line between the two sidewalk lines there. Okay. And as we go to the right, so we're going to go down this space, line it up to the vanishing point. So I don't know, every half an inch or so, you're going to draw the cracks on the sidewalk. Okay. So every couple inches or half an inch, you're going to draw those cracks on the right. See that? Now you see how that looks like an actual sidewalk crack? Okay. And you're just going to keep going up the street. Just moving the ruler or moving the angle of the ruler and still line it up to vanishing point number 1. So as you go up closer to the horizon line, those lines will look more and more straight as you get closer to the horizon or the vanishing point as well. And they'll also get shorter as you get closer to the vanishing point. Okay, so you're just gonna draw those cracks on the sidewalk cracks until you get to the vanishing point. And so again, those lines get shorter and shorter. Okay, to the point where they look like they disappear. So all these cracks here, these sidewalk cracks, go to vanishing point number 1. Okay, the sidewalk cracks on this side are going to go to the opposite vanishing point number 2. Okay, so then you do the same thing on the opposite side, but going to vanishing point number 2. So do that now. So again, line it up to vanishing point number 2. And then I'm going to start here with the corner of the building. And make the sidewalk crack. See that? So if you notice, this corner is like a diamond or like a square that's at an angle or flat on the ground. Okay? And the same thing, you're just gonna, every half an inch or so, draw the sidewalk crack until you get closer and closer to the vanishing point or the horizon line. And again, the lines get shorter and shorter because the space is getting smaller and smaller or thinner. Until they disappear. Okay, so now we have a building, we have our sidewalk, and then the street is right next to it, right? Or after the sidewalk. So let me show you how to do a little tiny curb. So if you draw a little tiny line, vertical line, like that, really small, right? It's probably like a 1/4 inch. Okay. And then we have, so little tiny vertical line just straight down from that corner, and line up the bottom of that vertical line to the vanishing point on the right, and do the same thing with the vanishing point on the left. Line up that little vertical line to vanishing point number 1, and then draw a line. And so now our sidewalk, before it goes to the street, this is the curb, this spot right in here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side of the street. So the street is here, right? And let's say we're gonna make it this wide. So with my ruler on the left, I mean, you can determine how wide you want the street if you want it super narrow. I want it to be, here, how about this? I'm gonna put a little dot right here that goes straight down, just to give you an idea of where I'm gonna line it up. So this is going to be the opposite corner of our street. So in here's our street, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. For vanishing point number 2, line it up to that one dot I drew there. Remember that you should be drawing these lines fairly light, not too dark. I'm drawing them darker because I want you to be able to see it on their screen. Okay, but there is a chance that we're going to be erasing some of these, right? Okay, everyone good here? Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you need me to show you how to do something again, okay? All right, let's go ahead and start. We're gonna draw a building to the right of this building, okay? And we started with one line, just like we started this. Common mistake that people do is they'll start it right next to this building. Now, buildings typically don't share walls, right? Like big buildings that you see in the cities, they don't have the same wall. They have a space between them, right? So we're gonna put just to the right of this building. I'm gonna put it right here between these two cracks, sidewalk cracks. I'm just gonna put a dot right there. Okay. This is where our other building is going to start, and there's going to be a space between it, almost like a little alleyway. Okay. And so now I'm gonna draw a vertical line. I'm gonna make this building that we're gonna draw right now a little taller than this one. Okay. So again, make sure this line that you're about to draw is perfectly straight. So line up at the bottom of your ruler with the bottom of the paper, and then draw a line straight up, and just make sure it goes past this point. So it'll be taller than this building, just by a little bit, not by a lot. Okay. Now, what do you guys think we do next? So what did we do after we drew that vertical line? Someone type it in the chat or unmute yourselves, please. So what do I do now? with the vertical line. What do I do next? What's the next step? What did we do after we did the vertical line for this first building? Does anyone else remember? Come on. What did we do? Thank you, Isaac. You connect them to both vanishing points, right? So if you look at the bottom here, it's connected already to vanishing point number 2. Let's go to the top. It's not connected to either one. So let's connect the top of the vertical line to vanishing point number 2. Remember, draw it light because we're going to erase part of it. We're not going to use the whole thing, right? And we need to make it go to vanishing point number 2. Or number 1, sorry. And you notice that when I line it up, it goes through this building. So when I draw this line, this orthogonal line, I'm going to stop it once it touches the other building right there. Okay. Okay. Now, actually, we're going to make this building look see-through, by the way. So it's going to be like a glass building. So we'll be able to see through it. We'll be able to see the ceiling, and we'll be able to see the floor on the building. Okay. All right. Now, just like we did this one when we did the 2 orthogonal lines, we need to draw a vertical line connecting these 2 right here. Okay. So choose how far or how wide. I'm going to make it more like a cube. So it's going to be a little wider on this side than the first building we drew. So again, vertical line right here. Okay. Now I don't need this, so I'm going to erase that orthogonal line. Okay. Since it is a see-through building or a clear building like a glass building, I don't need to erase the horizon line because we can see it through the building. Okay. All right. Do I need to add another orthogonal line anywhere? So one thing that happens when people draw the building side by side, they forget about one little line. Right now it looks okay, but it's missing one short line in this building. Okay, it's missing the bottom of this end. So you guys see how we can see the bottom here? We can't see it here. Right now it looks odd if you look at this general area. So we go from this bottom corner here, it's going to the vanishing point on the right, but it's not going to vanishing point number 1 over here. So again, line up your ruler to that point and to vanishing point number 1, and all you're going to draw is this one short line that connects it to that building. And now it looks, that one little line makes it look, now that there's space in between them and there's like a little alleyway in between them. Okay. All right. Now, the tough part, to make it so that you can see the ceiling and the floor. Okay. Let's act like the building ends here. So there's like a make-believe side or vertical line here, but it's behind this first building. Okay. Here's how you show that you can see the ceiling inside. Okay. And this is where it gets tricky and a little confusing. You're going to go from this corner, right? This vertical line is already connected to vanishing point number 2 on the top, right? That's how we got this line. And it's already connected to the bottom going this way. We're going to connect it to this vanishing point on the left. So from this corner, you're going to line it up to the left vanishing point. You're just going to draw a line. You're going to draw through it until it hits the other building. Like that. Okay. This line goes to the vanishing point number 1. And this space here is our ceiling inside of the building. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing for the bottom vertical line over here. This point is already going to vanishing point number 2, but it is not going to vanishing point number 1. And this is what's going to make our floor show up. So from this vertical line here, this point, line it up to vanishing point number 1 on the left. And then you're going to draw a line until it hits the building, the first building we drew. There you go. And there's the floor right there.